this brings me to my next question, which is, are you that vegan teacher? Are we racists? Are we anti-Semitics? Are we homophobic? You know, that is one of the things that they will do. They will find these labels, they'll find snippets, they'll try and get information, they'll try and create these issues with the messenger, with us, with activists that are especially outspoken like yourself and that vegan teacher. And so what they'll do is they'll label us with the most heavy labels possible, so that way they don't have to confront what it is that they are contributing to, their hypocrisy.
Exactly. They'll detract themselves from the entire message and find anything to grasp onto to take away from the actual message of animal suffering.
100%. And how many TikToks has that vegan teacher posted? She would have posted thousands during that. I think she said it was at least over 2,000 TikToks. And they find a couple of TikToks. It's only a couple of TikToks that I keep seeing popping up and circulating on social media, which are propaganda to discredit that vegan teacher, clearly. Yeah. And I just think, well, why don't you put it in context of the 5 TikToks before it and the 5 TikToks after it? You just grab a snippet from one short TikTok, and she has only got a whole minute to explain herself when she's doing TikTok too. So it's a very quick sort of thing. And you could grab anything anyone says in life and you can take it out of context and you can make them seem, it doesn't matter who it is. You could grab something someone says and in the way you can make them appear the way you want them to appear, sort of thing. So they want that vegan teacher. They want you to be bad people because that gives them the excuse to not listen to the truth that you're telling.
Exactly. I believe they are, for sure. And I think that vegan teacher is a perfect example because obviously people are labeling her as a racist and a homophobe when she has clearly on numerous occasions said that she is anti-oppression for any group of people, whether they're human or non-human. And for example, the video that she put up saying the N-word and not labeling anyone with that word. She's clearly just saying that there is power in reclaiming words and it is an effective way of ending oppression. And she's clearly just suggesting that people embrace this word and go back to its original meaning, which is not oppressive or derogatory, and actually celebrate it, because I think that is a powerful tool against people's hate and bullying. That is simply all she is stating.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, she's also talking about freedom of speech. You know, when you start censoring words and when you start telling people what it is they can and cannot say, it is a slippery slope. You know, where does it stop? It's like, that is an offensive word. People should refrain from saying it in a lot of situations. But when you're talking about it in context and you're not targeting someone, you should never target someone and, you know, belittle them and call them names. But when you're talking about things in context, it's like there are certain words we can't even discuss in context. It becomes a taboo subject, and taboo subjects need to be addressed because otherwise they fester below the surface and they can get worse and worse. And like I said earlier, you know, it is a slippery slope. Where do you stop? You know, it's that acceptance thing. It's like, all right, we will ban this word, and then what's the next word? What's the next word? Because as an activist yourself, you would be so familiar with censorship. You know, so it's all this censorship is sort of intertwined. You know, it's silencing, and they give reasons for silencing certain things. And yes, there is reason to silence certain things, but often there isn't. And it stops people from communicating freely because they're fearful. So what do you think about the fact that you have been silenced, you have been censored, and so has that vegan teacher and countless other vegan accounts on platforms like TikTok?
Yeah, it's absolutely insane that our accounts are being taken down. And I think the main reason is because people hate vegans. They don't want to hear our message that we're conveying. They don't want to be called out for being animal abusers and hypocrites. So they'll mass report our accounts and our content. And that's automatically giving a red flag alert to TikTok. And our accounts are just being removed without a proper review because they're just the system is just trusting all these people who are mass reporting the accounts, and that's why it's being taken down. I think that's the main reason. Obviously, there are other reasons that are higher than that, where we're looking into different social media platforms that are literally intentionally silencing animal rights activists. But yeah, it just should not be. It's taking away our freedom of speech, essentially.
Yeah, no, it's the thing is, a lot of people get targeted online. You know, there is this cancel culture. There are reasons people might start mass reporting you. And I think that TikTok's algorithms, the way it's structured, the actual, the way the app is built, obviously it's not taking into account or not being able to cope effectively with the mass reporting of certain accounts. Because there are trends that go on, you know, this is a bit of a trend to attack vegans on TikTok. I'd say it's one of the TikTok trends. And so the app should be able to handle that. It should, because honestly, the sorts of accounts I have found on TikTok that are still up, that have heaps of followers and are posting away, I've seen some horrific things and they're all still up because they're not getting reported in the numbers that you and that vegan teacher were getting reported in.
Exactly, and that's where the app is failing and is very inconsistent, because I've had some videos that are able to stay up and others taken down for reasons that don't even associate with that video. For example, videos that are taken down for nudity when there is clearly no nudity. Even when I appeal them, they still remain taken down. Is crazy.
Oh my God. Well, that vegan teacher was saying the same thing. You know, her dog was videos of just her dog was getting taken down for nudity. It's just what is going on? You know, it's like they're trusting, they think that something's going on. They've put in the coding. If someone's receiving this number of dislikes ratio, blah, 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 then remove it because it's probably the case that it does have nudity. But, you know, in this instance, it doesn't. Tash, why do you think it's important for activists and activism to be disruptive as opposed to sort of calm and passive?
I think that's the only way that the message is actually going to be conveyed, because the power behind taking direct action that is disruptive and obviously non-violent is that it will gain media attention and reach a mass audience with the message. Whereas if you're choosing a style of protesting that is focusing on being really calm and taking this loving approach, which can obviously be effective in the moment because it can start one-on-one conversations, it's not reaching a mass audience and it's not getting the world to talk about that topic. And history is a perfect example of how social change has happened through taking disruptive direct action. For example, the suffragettes, because they spent about a decade trying to work within the system and create this change by remaining peaceful and respectful, and they found that they were getting nowhere with that. So they thought they'd had enough of that and they wanted to take direct action. So what these women did in the UK was they disrupted one of the biggest conferences in Britain, and they pulled out their banners and started screaming and shouting that women should have the right to vote. And that's when we really saw a massive change, not only in the UK, but around the world. And about a decade after, women were actually granted the right to vote in the UK and many other nations as well. So that's just one example of how social change has been created through taking direct action. And I think if we want to achieve animal liberation, we need to be taking disruptive direct action to actually achieve that media attention and get the world talking about animal rights.
That reminds me of, I think it was Bernie Sanders was doing like a talk to quite a large audience, and a couple of girls jumped up and tried to take over the microphone, and they were talking about dairy and animal agriculture and how terrible it was. And, you know, that ended up in the media, you know, that was spoken about. They might have been booed at that moment. They might be mocked currently, but they're going to be looked back on similarly to those women you described going and being disruptive.
Exactly. Yeah. At the time, all of those activists were laughed at. They were treated beyond appallingly by general society, and they were the real game changers that created justice They are the heroes that we look at.
Exactly. It starts a conversation, and it's such a shame because I feel like people haven't taken this opportunity. That vegan teacher has managed to make, through TikTok, she managed to amass 1.7 million followers. She had most of TikTok sort of, at least, the vegan was on their radar, this word, this philosophy. And it's a shame because I feel like more vegans could have taken that opportunity to talk about it. Since people were focused and looking in this direction, they might have been looking over, they were looking over because she was disruptive. She was putting controversial stuff out there. She was being unapologetic. She was saying it how it is. She was talking about other controversial topics. But oppression, oppression is a controversial topic, especially in regards to animal agriculture. And so she got everyone's attention. And it's a shame more people didn't rise up and use that opportunity to educate people on veganism. Instead,
exactly.
Yeah, and instead other vegans are trying to silence her. It's like, no, you should be doing the opposite. You don't have to pay attention to her, but use this opportunity to talk.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. Instead, everyone, including many people in the vegan community, decided to try and bring her down and jump on board with all the other non-vegans saying that she's a racist and a homophobe and saying that she shouldn't have a platform. But she's honestly one of the most, if not the most powerful animal rights activists that has ever existed, because she has reached tens of millions of people with the animal rights message. She has inspired so many. She has literally disrupted social media and the whole online world internationally.
Absolute phenomenon.
Yeah, exactly. She should be seen as the hero.
And I think
this is
one
just
day
another
she will
perfect example of people laughing and shaming. And it's just so sad to see the whole vegan community just on board with that too, with the shaming.
They're getting
really
sucked
sad.
into these side arguments. She said this. Oh my God, I'm sorry she's not woke. I'm sorry she's not a 20-year-old woke university student that's studying politics. I'm sorry. No, she's who she is. She's a 56-year-old woman who is passionate about animal rights.